Just making sure that the technology is working. Hi. Sorry, missed you this afternoon. I was having a great time here in my kitchen and doing some coaching as well as chatting with you, but technology wasn't on my side. So I'm just going to check and make sure that I am live because I really wanted to talk to you again today about cooking amidst chaos. We all have at some times in our life messes. I call them my life messes. And those are, if I might be so bold, those are our learning experiences. Today, this is the second live Facebook video in my series. I'll be back on tomorrow on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Hey, if technology allows, as well as on Thursday. Now, these videos will be up for a limited time only. So if you don't catch me live, you can catch me a little bit later when it's posted, and they'll be up for a little while because I am getting ready to support and coach busy professionals and business people, small businesses mostly, and mostly women, supporting them through changing their eating and their lifestyle. So with that, I'm going to start off with chatting about why sprouts. Why should I even consider sprouts? Well, sprouts are the most nutrient-dense food on this planet. Why do you think elephants like them? Why do you think giraffes like them? And they go up, they have the long neck and the long trunks, and they go right up to the very top of the foliage to get the green, fresh leaves. You know what? If the animals can do it, so can we. And we can learn something as humans from the animals. They know what they need. So do our bodies, but we have stopped listening to what our bodies need. And this is all about what I do as a health coach, is bringing back to our consciousness things we can easily do, easy adjustments for living simply and eating simply. I know we're all busy, crazy busy most of the time. You know what? Even though I am saucy, sometimes sassy, and seasoned, my life is busy as well. And my intention is to be as healthy and stay healthy as long as I can so that my kidlets don't have the memories I do. But first, before I get into that part of my life, I want to show you how easy it is to do sprouts. Sprouts, well, they're these little things that I'm going to come up live and personal with you to show you. There's squigglies on the end of them, and they're very simply beans and seeds like lentils, like chickpeas. There's a few soybeans in here, as well as others. Now, this is the bigger, crunchier variety that I like, and I actually use these to put in soup broths to give more enzymes, to get the enzymes into my body that my body needs after so many years of abuse. And it wasn't intentional abuse. I hung on to grief for way longer than was good for me. I'm not going to say should, and I don't should or should on you when I'm doing support, because you need to determine what you need for yourself. Now, if we're talking about sprouts, we're also talking about different sizes of sprouts. And I'm going to take these guys out of here. This is a mixture of alfalfa and clover. And for my farmer friends out there, well, you know, you usually feed those to the animals, right? Why do you feed them to the animals? Because they're nutritious. They're nutrient dense. They have a good source of fatty acids, fiber, and by the time they start to make the little leaves on them, well, you can probably see them right in here. See that green? That's chlorophyll. And chlorophyll is what we need, especially the vitamin B from it. Chlorophyll actually helps to cleanse your blood. And believe it or not, sprouts are a great source of protein. They're easy, they're fast to grow. It takes about 3 to 5 days for them to mature. So here I am with a pot full, let's get those live guys out of there, a pot full of the dried seeds, and some of them are legumes in here, but they're all seeds because that's where life starts, with a seed, right? Plant life anyway. And you're actually eating little live green plants. So if that hasn't turned you off yet, and you've turned me off, hang in there with me. What I need to do is I need to water them. Same, if you're a gardener, you know what I'm talking about. A dried seed is a dried seed is a dried seed. Nothing's going to happen until it is humidified, some water on it, and it has some light. So these seeds need very little light because they're in the first processes of sprouting. Now what's happening, if you can see that, I'm going to tip it a little bit, there's water dripping out the side because there are tiny holes in this sprouter, and it's actually a 2-tiered sprouter. So if I wanted to, I could actually put another layer of sprouts. This one I only use when I have the larger seeds, because when I put the smaller seeds in, there was too much blockage and it really stayed wet too long. These are really tiny seeds. Really tiny seeds. So I have 2 different ways that I sprout, and I just put them beside the sink where I can easily rinse them during the day, because they do need rinses maybe a couple, 3 times a day. In the morning if you're off to work, and at night when you come back. I've actually been gone a day, and with that I just watered them when I came back. Brought them back to life. So what I do with this one is I just leave it on the counter, and then I'll just keep pouring water over it. But in the bottom is the extra water. It's kind of like a reservoir. So I just dump that out. You can actually water your plants because that's a great way for them to get more nutrition. So this one, I actually just had a piece of netting. Now this netting is fine. The seeds won't go through, and it's tulle. It's actually a very fine netting, and it was in my sewing supplies. Hey, I used to have an event planning service, so that's one way I did it. And then all I do with that, if I can get one out of the drawer here, is I just pop an elastic around the jar. Don't even need a cover on it. Et voila. Now it does need to drain, so make sure you set it like this after you've rinsed it, and then it will drain the extra water down into the dish, because they don't want to sit in water more than the very first night. So I'm going to set some to sprout right now, and I'm sprouting about a teaspoonful for a jar like this. So if you're only doing a small quantity, just do a small jar, and it's a wide mouth jar so you can get them out easily. I have a cover. This one I don't recommend. You will see it in health food stores, and I'll show you why. Somebody forgot to really measure properly, and it doesn't fit well on top of there. They're not cheap, so that one I don't recommend. This is somebody's do-it-yourself idea. It's just one of those plastic covers. Here's a small one. It's a mason jar cover, and what they've done is they've actually just drilled a big hole in the center, smaller holes around the side, and you can do the same thing again. You can put the netting on top, or, hey, one of those screens that was in the other side, because if you just use the holes, they're going to go right straight through. So what I'm going to do with this, let me take it back off again, because I need to let them sit in water so that the shells of the seeds have softened. I'm going to leave it like that overnight. Then in the morning, all I'm going to do is just drain it off. So you don't have to leave it set a very long time, but it's a handy way. There's jars all over the place, and you can easily get the jars in any hardware store, grocery store. They usually have them year round. Now, sprouts. Oh my goodness, there's so many great things to them. I mentioned fatty acids, but there's also the fiber in them, the chlorophyll for cleansing our blood, essential minerals, and vitamins like vitamin B. Good source of protein, easy and fast to grow, no getting dirt underneath your nails, no weeding, and you can do it indoors. Mature in about 3 to 5 days. Is that not a really good reason? Did I give you a bunch of really good reasons? Well, here's another one. We get an allotted amount of enzymes when we are planted on this earth. After that, as we age, what is that? As we age, as the years go by, we deplete that reserve. And we need to put more raw foods like raw vegetables, raw fruit, and or sprouts in our diets to help to keep that. And you can't replenish the reserve, but you can help your digestion. Now, I hear from a lot of clients that have digestion problems, that have sleeplessness, that have anxiety, and they really want to clean up their eating, and they want to clean up their lifestyle. So that's what integrative health means to me as a coach, and to you if you wanted. It's holistic, top of the head, tip of the toe. The one other thing that you could use for the sprouts is cheesecloth. So you don't have to get any expensive equipment to do this, and you will be doing your body, your energy, your digestion a whole lot of good. Now, over the years, I've learned to feel blessed rather than bruised from the messes that happened in my life, from loss, from the grief of loss. And it wasn't only losing my spouses, but it was also losing my identity in a career that I had really dedicated a lot of years to. I lost my soul, I lost my spirit. I didn't know where to find it. So it was like, what's going on? Where am I going? And I had no clue. What was my purpose on this planet? Well, while I was learning to feel blessed instead of bruised, some of the memories that I have as a kid growing up. Am I still there? Let me know. Give me a thumbs up if I'm still there. I just got a phone call. Golly. Let's turn that notification off. All right. But let me know if you're there. I want to see your thumbs up and if anything is resonating with you here. So I had a lot of unpleasant, unhappy memories as a kid, but I started remembering the things that I had fun with. And that was being in the garden with grandparents, was with a beloved grandmother that would bend over in her garden and she would show me her little flowers, and especially her pansies. Her pansies, that see the little face on them. And I can see her in my mind's eye, remembering having a conversation with a grandfather on the other side of the family. And that was after I had a grandmother that was paralyzed and in bed. And at 12 years old, I was helping to look after her. And I felt valued. I loved looking after her. It hadn't impacted me as a kid of what was going through her life. But as I got older and realized and understood what was going on, then it was, part of the distress I had in my life. Because I didn't want to land in the same place. Here she was at 60 years old, paralyzed, and having to live in a wheelchair for the rest of her life. And my intention and my determination is that my kidlets do not have the same memories. So let's talk about the happy memories. I have a grandfather that we'd go into, and during that time, I hadn't had any interaction with him. But we went into the garden and into his raspberry patch, and we picked raspberries. And the care that he gave those beautiful red globes of juiciness and fruitfulness, it's something that has stuck in my memory forever. Believe it or not, our muscles have memory. And I've only learned that after doing a lot of research about the crazy fibromyalgia that I was diagnosed with. It took them forever to figure it out because it was over 20 years ago. Today, there still is no clinical test to determine fibromyalgia. It's, well, most likely you have fibromyalgia. So what do you do about it? Take medications, pain relievers, and what does that do to the rest of your system? My fix for me was looking outside the box. And that's how I got into doing more of this stuff. Finding out through alternative therapies what would be good for me to help me revive, have more energy, not have as much pain, to keep the fibro beast that lives with me kicked to the curb. Not on a short leash, but on a freaking long one where it hangs out the other side of the door. So I got back into finding what gave me joy. My family, being around my family always gave me joy. You know what raising kids are like. So there were some times it wasn't quite so happy. But I got back into growing. I was self-sufficient on 200 acres a ton of years ago. And I got back into doing a lot of those things, and I became a master gardener in the perennial field. Hey, the genes carry on, and I'm so proud to see that happening in my family still. They're still getting down and dirty and getting out there and digging. But as the years go by, I have not been able to maintain and get down. And now I'm living in a condo. When I moved out of my own bungalow, there was the distress of, oh man, I can't garden. I can't have my own place. Hey, they're doing the yard cleaning, they're doing the lawn mowing. Yay, I don't have to. But I still wanted to grow stuff. So if you can see behind me, I turned the lights off because it's kind of a glare behind me. But that is my growing tower. That is my aeroponic, and you won't see it or find out the definitions in Wikipedia or in a dictionary. And that's how I grow all of my greens. And I even have some geraniums on there, and those are heritage geraniums I keep going every year. Stolen coleus stems that I rooted in there. And the herbs that I love so much to put into fresh foods. So things like cilantro and parsley, they're hanging out over there on my tower, and if you give me a sec, I'll plug it back in so you can see how it works. Now it's on lights in the wintertime, inside. Outside, in the summertime, without the lights, and I build it up so there's extra pieces on there. Now I'm going to just check and see if we've still got something going on here. Yes, I'm still going. So, with that, tonight I wanted to, and I needed to plant some seeds because I have a few tower gardens going out, and I need to replace some on my tower as well. So earlier today, this is what I planted for you. I planted some green beans, and here's proof that you can plant the green beans because I pulled one off from the bean on the back. It's just getting started, so lots of fun. Those are larger seeds. Those are seeds that are this size. So seeds that size are easy, and you just put one per little cube. Now the cubes look like this, and it's actually rock wool. So rock wool cubes, and they need some watering. So all I do is just pour over top and have a little bit of extra water in the bottom so that it will absorb all of the water. So in those little cubes, this one I have used mesclun salad greens because I really love the spiciness of some of the greens. I have some prize head lettuce here. It's an heirloom seed. Dill. Now I don't grow dill for the seeds on top. I actually grow dill for putting the fronds into salads. Again, pumps up the flavor. I have some more mesclun here, and it's one of the things I like the most, and they're easiest grown. So what I'm going to do is, there's a variety in here, and they're different sizes. I'm going to put a bunch into one little hole. So that means that I don't have to worry about just putting 1 or 2 seeds in. One for the big ones, several, like 6 or 8 for the littler seeds. So this one's going to be all mesclun greens. And this is a mild blend of mesclun. There's some Asian greens in there, which I know are bok choy, and bok choy grows absolutely crazy stupid on that tower. All of the greens do, because that's what we lack in most of our diets, is enough greens. So things like oregano and summer savory, thyme, basil's another thing. Basil on this tower, I keep the plants up to, gosh, I kept them up to 16 months. Hey, can't do that in Canada year round. You freeze their bejeezers out of them if you try to. Can't keep them outside, they die. And you know, the ones that you get in the grocery store, they don't last very long because they're grown in a greenhouse, because they're forced, and we don't have the same type of lights and so forth for them to grow properly. So I like getting my seeds. I like getting organic seeds and sourcing them. And thanks to Janice for supplying me with a whole bunch of cilantro. And get rid of that notification on there. I'm just checking the technology because I've had 2 days of boot me off. So we're not able to post it for you. So I hope you're still hanging in there. So this is basil, and for sure I put several seeds in there. Now you can see that I'm not covering them, and that's okay too, because they don't need to be in the sunlight, or they don't need to be in the light. And I pop them on top of my fridge where there's a little bit of space. It's nice and warm up there until they start to sprout. So it's going to be, oh, it's usually less than 7 days. It's usually 5 or 6 days before they start to sprout and start to show their little heads up. So you're going to make sure that I have lots of basil here that I can share with new tower growers. Yay! How much fun is that? What else have I got here? I also have parsley. Parsley is a lot of fun, and I have 2 types of parsley on the tower right now. I have the curly and I have the flat. And I make tons of pesto from that, and I use pesto in so many things. If you want my pesto recipe, make sure you go to my website, www.yourbetterlivingcoach.com. Go to blog in the menu after you've gotten your free report, and then you can go to my recipes. That one is there for you. Now, you know, learning to feel blessed instead of bruised was huge for me, because I learned boundaries, which I hadn't set before. I was called a free spirit, and I know as a kid I was really sensitive, and I still am as an adult. Reviving means setting priorities, time management, boundaries, putting up boundaries for you, to how much that you give away of yourself. If you're interested in finding out more about what coaching support would mean for you, for the first 10 people that like and share this video, I'm going to gift you a free coaching session with me, a 30-minute coaching session that you can share your why with me. Why do you want to have more energy? Why do you want to revive, not merely survive? Or Why do you want to take the hassle out of healthy and redefine the word healthy for you? So join me again tomorrow night. That's Wednesday afternoon, tomorrow, Wednesday afternoon. And this video will stay up for a while. The video I did on Saturday will stay up for a while. And the other two videos that I'm going to be doing Wednesday and Thursday will stay up for a while, but it is limited. So grab them and look at them for as long as you want or as many times as you want, and share it with somebody that you care about. So that's it for tonight. I'm Elaine Cooper, your Better Living Coach, and thank you so much. It makes me feel, it's you that gives me the energy to keep doing what I'm doing. Bye now.